Non-negotiable habits on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And so Abhishek is a guy who runs our YouTube channel. And so he's very big on trying to do some bits on building habits and cultivating things. And so I've been reluctant for a long time because sometimes I feel like a phony. Non-negotiable daily, weekly habits, monthly habits for myself. And don't eat junk, do some exercise, don't watch phone after 10 p.m. and I've been rather poor at maintaining all this. But it doesn't mean that I should simply not be speaking on this funda. I'm trying, so should you. And in this context of preparing for CAT, there perhaps is some one or two things that I may say which could be of use. So take it with a pinch of salt. Understand that I'm supremely fallible and really, really bad at having these type of habits for myself. I'm trying, so should you. Maybe we can discuss ideas and something falls in place. Right? So with that caveat, I'm jumping in. Right? What should we be doing on a daily basis? Absolutely non-negotiable is reading. And so even this is non-negotiable in the non-negotiable category. And it is you cast it in stone and build a brick wall around it and say, look, this we will do forever, every single day, even after CAT, even on the day of going to the exam. And it is reading. And 45 minutes to an hour of good reading. Reading does not include browsing. Going doom scrolling is not reading. Right? I do that. I kid myself saying that is also reading. That is not reading. That is patently not reading. And so reading is one of the elements that keeps fighting against this giant force that shrinks our attention span. Doom scrolling is the exact opposite of that. And so that doesn't count as reading. Right? Solving puzzle, being in touch with perhaps having a crack at one LRDI puzzle every day. Either previous year question or from some question bank or one giant pot that I have not touched or mock question that I have not attempted during the exam. Some reasonably good quality source, one minimum per day. Okay. Practicing Quant again is non-negotiable, mainly because ideas fly away in Quant. So you have to be in touch with several topics, definitely in touch with the idea of solving on an everyday basis. One thing for verbal, one thing for LRDI, one thing for Quant. Depending on your particular vulnerability, you should prioritize one or the other. I would say if there has to be an order in these three, it is reading. All three are non-negotiable, but the absolute giant elephant in the room is reading. On a daily basis, you must do these three. On a weekly must do, so it's very, very important. Taking and analyzing a mock. We are close enough to the exam. No matter what happens, every week you must take a mock and analyze that. Analyze that in reasonable depth. Think about your question selection. Think about gaps to fill. Think about tactically, overall level, what you can improve. And so this is super crucial. In this bucket of three things, the most non-negotiable one is this one. Right? If there has to be a hierarchy among these three, it is this. Enshrine it, put it into a pedestal and say every week, Friday evening 6 to 8 or Sunday afternoon 3 to 5, I'm going to be taking a mock, come hell or high water. And so make sure that you turn up at that slot at that time, week after week, relentlessly. For this, it could be the single most important factor driving your preparation. Right? So the revising old Quant topics has got to be a feature. Lots of times we guzzle Quant, but don't pause to revisit topics that you have done a little while ago. All of us feel nice if you're saying, I finished this topic. So if I did percentages last week, this week I want to do profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest, and trigonometry. So I've done 3 more topics. If I do percentages again, I cannot mentally put a tick mark against it. Already there's a tick mark sitting there. But the revisiting as an idea is super important. You consolidate things. Right? Going closer and closer to the exam, all of us will keep saying this over and over again. Knowing fewer topics really, really well is probably better off than knowing a lot of topics kinda. And the 6 out of 10 in 22 topics is worse than 9 out of 10 in 11 topics. Being the king of what you know, being very comfortable with grappling with ideas and in sweet spot set of topics has a better payoff. And that comes with revisiting, revising. So every now and then take stock and say, look, I told myself I've done simple interest, compound interest. Honestly, I know the 3 formulae, but it's a slightly tricky question. I'm lost. I have to revisit it. Bring yourself back and do that. Fine. Similarly, reviewing solved LRDI sets. LRDI sets is about training your mind to grapple with better ways of grabbing onto solutions. For a long time, I thought LRDI was about solving and solving and solving. Right? But there is solving may help your brain subconsciously develop links and subconsciously become better at cracking newer and newer templates, which is correct, and that's the most natural way. But there is an element of organized practice where you say, look, I went and grabbed onto that constraint. I should have started with this. I fell for that trap. The most important thing in this thing was that ratio, and I came to it after 4 minutes. That should have been the first thing I looked at. I overlooked that entire constraint while doing. Okay, I've got to be careful about these things. You need to pause and take stock for that, for which reviewing solutions and seeing, okay, what could I have tweaked to get there sooner, get there without error, or leave the whole damn thing. That organized, forcing yourself to think in a structured manner to improve consciously plays a role. Without doing all this, you'll learn. Without doing all this, your mind will process. Without doing all this, you'll automatically get better. Definitely. No doubt about it. But if you do that, then it's that little bit better. So take time to have a crack at that. Okay? Monthly, this is all of these are kind of taking stock. Right? Every now and then you have to pause and say, okay, where am I headed? Right? So you have to spend some time to say, how much can I target in this cat? So I would say, someone with a bias like mine, I would say, look, I want to get 30 in verbal, 25 in LRDI, and 45 in Quant. That's my plan. 30, 25, 45. 30 plus 25, 55, 55 plus 45, 100 grand score I'm waltzing in. My route to 100 is 30, 25, 45. And then I realize, okay, this is nice. I think I have the 30. I need to read slowly, be a little careful, keep doing RC practice, I'm good. 25 in LRDI, one puzzle is 15 marks, one more, good shot. 45 in Quant means I have to get 15 all correct. I typically make 2 mistakes. That means I have to attempt 18 questions. And even with 2 mistakes, land up at a good score. 18 questions, 40 minutes is super tough. So I need to grind on Quant and not leave topics completely unfinished or incomplete or leave anything to chance. I need to be the absolute king in this topic. Sometimes it's work on a weak topic to bake it above par. Sometimes it is crunch a strong topic to set the bar high. You need to take stock and say, this is my plan. This is where I'm headed towards, for which I need to achieve this, this and this. This is the ball game for me and I'm not yet there. And push that. Identify that and push that. And so, reviewing weekly learning, again, it's part of taking stock. And I want to do this. I've completed this. Maybe I need to revisit how much time I can really spend on topics, given that mocks are taking longer than I thought. So I would reduce this. I'll dump 2 topics, doesn't matter. I'm not going to do that every day. I'm very comfortable with one set of puzzles. I'm not going to keep visiting LRDI as aggressively as I planned. So I'll get slightly more time. I'm going to spend that on mock analysis. That taking stock. So the learnings you have taken from each topic and from mocks, put them together. Reviewing all taken mocks. This again is a stock taking exercise rather than a learning exercise. We're analyzing mocks with learning exercise. This is like, look, I took 4 mocks. In 3 of them I got above 60. In 1 I got 33. What did I really mess up in that 33? Can I be sure that whatever happens I can get above 60? In 1 I hit 78. What went for me? So, and can I replicate that? Are there habits to be picked? Are there mechanisms that I can say, this is what I need to be doing? I was super well rested that day. The 33 was after a messed up day. So my mind, my feeling of well-being, feeling of happiness, what I've eaten, how much water I've drunk, they all matter. So I'll be careful about all that. So that pausing and reflecting really helps it. So hopefully I've given you some nuggets, something to think about and keep in mind. Hopefully they play a role. I hope you enjoyed the video. We have wonderful, absolutely delightful month-end discounts in July this year for both CAT 2025 and 2026. If you're thinking about preparing for CAT, this is a fabulous time to start preparing for it. Sign up, look at the discounts. If it makes sense, please do purchase. Best wishes for CAT.